Yes.
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 Yeah, I have.
Yes.
My name is Shannon Rankin, and I'm a teacher, and I'm 39 years old.
Have you ever experienced gender-based discrimination?
I would absolutely say yes in different levels of severity.
What happened?
I think, growing up, you face discrimination as far as being told what girls can and can't do versus boys. And then as you get older, you see the disparity in the treatment of teenage and young women versus teenage boys and young men, and the expectations of responsibility versus boys will be boys. And then in the workplace, I'm pretty fortunate to have not experienced gender-based discrimination in this job. But I think that's because we're protected by a union, because I know in many jobs, if I was trying to climb a ladder, knowing that I was married and having kids and whatnot would often be used against me in many job settings.
How did this experience make you feel? Did this cause any long-term effects?
I think I'm just at this point at a level of like constant female rage simmering, because even if and when I don't experience it, I know that I'm one of the lucky ones, and I just see it in the media, in the double standards, in the treatment and words used around women. There definitely isn't equality.
Have you ever felt overlooked because of your gender?
I think because of my gender, yes, especially when it comes to sports and whatnot, like being assumed that, you're a lower caliber than a male counterpart, even before there's any evidence on the table other than just being male versus female. So that might be one example.
Mm-hmm. What message would you give to someone who's facing gender discrimination right now?
It is all about them and not about you is where the problem lies. You are not the problem. You are not doing anything wrong. You are not less than, but we are in a system that was made by men to serve men, and we just need to keep fighting and clawing for equality. And the more men panic about our attempts at equality, the closer it's getting and the more fragile and weak they feel as women reach that level. So don't take their crap.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joanne Hall. I'm 62 years old.
Have you ever experienced gender-based discrimination?
Yes.
What happened?
Pump training at work. There was 5 guys and 2 women, and I felt discriminated because the guys were always kind of putting us down, saying, well, you should know this, or yeah, you can do it, or it just felt like they were above us.
Have you ever been subjected to gender-based jokes, comments, or stereotypes?
Yes.
What steps should be taken to create a more gender-equal society?
I think there should be more education on this subject, and I think people just need to be more aware of what they're doing and what they're saying.
What message would you give to someone who's facing gender discrimination right now?
Don't give up. There's help out there, and there's always good people out there.
Hi, my name is Mike Hall, and I'm 62 years old.
Have you ever experienced gender-based discrimination?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever witnessed this happen to someone else?
Yes, I have.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel sorry for the person that it was happening to, and kind of annoyed with the person who was doing it.
What steps should be taken to create a more gender-equal society?
Well, I believe it starts with raising your kids the proper way to treat all people equal.
What message would you give to someone who's facing gender discrimination right now?
Hold your head up and stand up for yourself, and look for the good people out there, because they are there.
Hi, my name's Julianne, and I am 28 years old.
Have you ever experienced gender-based discrimination?
Yeah, I have.
What happened?
So I've experienced gender-based discrimination in many different areas in life. I think one that comes to mind most prevalently is the workplace. I work in healthcare, work in a field that's predominantly female, and going with that, there's a lot of gender-based role typing and stereotyping about how females are better at naturally caring for individuals. And so, yeah.
How did this experience make you feel?
Yeah, I think it's a disheartening experience, especially knowing that there's so many different roles that go along with gender roles in society. So every time that you do encounter these discriminatory moments, it's a disheartening and disquieting feeling.
Have you ever been subjected to gender-based jokes, comments, or stereotypes?
Yeah, I think the most frequent one is, you hear all the time that women are jacks of all trades. Women are so strong because we have to do it all. And reality is just sometimes it's not possible to do it all. It's not possible to go to work and also take care of a family, build a career, take on so many different things, and just be expected to have a smile on your face at all times.
What steps should be taken to create a more gender-equal society?
Oh my gosh. I think the most important one is having all genders represented in higher levels of politics, of education, of all the sectors that are informing change in society, and having those voices amplified. I think the most important thing is making sure that marginalized voices are represented at these tables and at these discussions to make sure that we are creating a more equitable society for future generations to come.
What message would you give to someone who's facing gender discrimination right now?
You're valid. Your feelings are valid. Your emotions are valid. Continue to have those and to express those and to be heard and make your voice heard in society, because it's important that we do hear what you have to say.
Hi, my name is James Pope. I'm 36.
Have you ever experienced gender-based discrimination?
Not myself, no.
Have you witnessed this happen to someone else?
Yes.
What happened?
It would have been in traffic. I've constantly through my life witnessed women discriminated for driving. That's the most predominant one I can think of.
How did this make you feel?
Upset, but also discouraged with myself that I didn't speak up or voice my opinion. I just kind of was quiet about it.
Have you ever been subjected to gender-based jokes, comments, or stereotypes?
Yes.
What message would you give to someone who's facing gender discrimination right now?
Don't feel alone. Find somebody or a group that perhaps has dealt with this themselves and have the tools to deal with it, and ultimately avoid those groups or those people that are doing that.